Hi, so here, second day of the conference. What do you think are the most interesting topics that have come up?
I think for me, this is very first exposure to nicotine forum, and I'm most impressed with the quality of science that's being talked about. Dissents, there are viewpoints which are different from others. And I think the concept of harm reduction or the benefits, these being debated, and I think the positive approach for me is better. That harm reduction, of course, we have to do, but we should also think of benefits that comes because of this at the social level, individual level, and the national level. And I think it's going real great and good quality science, very engaging audience, and excellent speakers. So I think I'm going back wiser to India for certain.
That's excellent. What do you think are the biggest challenges internationally? Because we've heard a lot about the different hurdles and barriers people face in different countries. We've heard a lot about the WHO. What do you think the biggest challenges are for advancing this issue, harm reduction and sharing the science internationally?
I think one of the biggest challenges, I think, the governmental attitudes, and I find that a lot of policy makers and the governments do not have courage, because political thinking is very different from humane and social thinking. And the politicians, and my government, for instance, we have a blanket ban sometime coming on e-cigarettes in some states of the country, and I wrote a very strong letter to our Minister of Health that you cannot simply ban an alternative product, because if we don't know, I mean, if you don't know anything, then you ought to know about it before you take a decision. So I think that globally the challenge is to convince the policymakers and governmental organizations to take a positive look at the harms that tobacco is causing and the magnitude of it, and of course eliminate it. That's the best way of doing it. But till that happens, till we come to that path, let's go down on the path of harm reduction and also talk of benefits of reducing the harm, because that is a big gain in public health perspective.
And I suppose sharing some of the information we've heard from Sweden and other countries is quite helpful in making that argument.
Also, because I know that I gave my presentation for India, and the largest chunk of Indian population is using smokeless tobacco. And for them, e-cigarettes and such alternatives or other nicotine replacement therapies do not make much sense. But snus, for instance, does, and the other variants of it, the new generations that are coming. The challenge in India would be, because I know the economic situation, at least for that huge chunk of tobacco users, for them the price will be a challenge. But there are ways and means of doing it. The governments are convinced they can buy and give to people, help them, like they do for antibiotics to the whole population for fighting diseases. So there are ways and means, but that will has to come, and that's one challenge that I find. Snus is excellent data, and it's a pity that whole EU has banned it. It's right in the neighborhood, and that's not a good message for other countries. I think for India it's very relevant, I feel, because my rough estimate, as I presented in my data, 440 million people to the minimum are using smokeless tobacco. And they're suffering because 52% of all cancers are oral and upper digestive tract in India. I think their snus and the equivalent products are the answer till people can do it. But if EU does not do it, then it's very difficult, because Government of India and the policymakers sit and say that, look, they are not stupid, they are sitting right there and not doing it. Why should we go for it? And that's a challenge.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.